Happy St. Patrick's Day. It is March 17th, and since we can't be in school today, I thought we could talk about Ireland virtually. So if you don't know, I actually lived in Ireland when I was 20. I did this thing in college called study abroad, where you pick another country to go to live in for a few months, and I picked Ireland. So I lived in Ireland from August to December in 2007. I went to college there, and I got to travel around the whole country and learn a lot about Ireland and its culture. I usually share my pictures with my students in school, but since we can't do that this year, I thought I would share them virtually and take you guys all on a field trip so you can see my pictures from Ireland. If you're wondering why I'm not wearing green, well, first of all, I did pick this lovely green background wall color, but I'm actually wearing a hoodie from my college. I went to University College Cork, and this was the hoodie that students who went there could buy and wear. So this is like the crest of the college. And then I have no idea what the skull and crossbones is, but it's been a part of it. So I like to wear this hoodie to remind me of the fun times I had when I lived in Ireland. So I'm going to show you a map of where I lived, Cork, and some of the locations around Ireland that I went to. And then I'll show you all of my pictures so you can get a sense of what Ireland was like and celebrate St. Patrick's Day even from the comfort of your home. So enjoy the pictures. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Okay, so here's a map of Ireland. As you can see, Ireland is an island. You can also see that there is a separate country north of the regular Republic of Ireland. That green part in the upper right-hand corner is actually a separate country. Northern Ireland is part of the United Kingdom. So in Ireland, I lived in Cork, okay, which you can see by the red star is the south part of Ireland. It is the second biggest city. We also traveled all over Ireland. So we definitely went to Dublin, which was the capital. Okay, you can see that circle there in green. We also traveled lots of other places. We went to Killarney. We went to the Ring of Kerry, which included Killarney and was also a just drive of natural wonder and beauty around the coast. We went to the Aran Islands, which were hardly inhabited at all by people and were absolutely beautiful. You'll definitely see pictures of those. We went to Galway as well. So we went a lot of places around Ireland, and I'm going to show you my pictures in just a few minutes from them. So now let's zoom out. Ireland is in the continent of Europe. Where in Europe is Ireland? Go ahead and pause this video if you want and see if you can find where Ireland is inside the continent of Europe. Okay, did you find it? There it is. Okay, Ireland is in Western Europe. Okay, as you can see, the little pink spot on top is Northern Ireland. The reason why it's pink, as well as the United Kingdom next to it, is because it's part of the United Kingdom. Okay, you can see Iceland to the north, another island, and then you can see Spain to the south. So that's where Ireland is. You can see it's pretty small compared to some of the other countries in Europe. And let's zoom out further to the world. Where in the world is Ireland? Now, the font on this picture is very tiny, so you might not be able to actually read it. You might have to use your knowledge of where Europe is to see if you can figure out where Ireland is. Go ahead and pause if you want to try to find it for a minute. Okay, there's Ireland in the red circle. So, as you can see, it is pretty small when you're looking at the entire world. Okay, you can also tell that it is across the ocean from the United States of America, where I'm assuming everyone who's tuning in is from. So, in order to get to Ireland, I had to fly from the United States across the Atlantic Ocean to Ireland. Pretty crazy. Lastly, before we show you some pictures, let's go over some Ireland fast facts. First, about 4.86 million people live in Ireland. That might sound like a lot, but to give you a context, about 6 million people live in Maryland. So the population of Ireland, which is in a country, is less than the population of Maryland, which is just one state in the United States. Ireland uses the euro for its money. They do not use United States dollars. The euro is a form of currency that's used by many countries in Europe. A fun random fact, Halloween was actually invented in Ireland. Most people in Ireland are Catholic. Okay, that's a religion. And we'll get a little bit more into that later. There's actually the colors of the flag, of the Irish flag, have something to do with that religion. Ireland actually has two official languages, Irish and English. When I was there, everyone spoke English in all the main cities where I was, although they spoke it with an Irish accent. But they also speak Irish or Gaelic, which is sort of the older language that in some of the smaller communities is used prevalently. But all in all, they mostly speak English. Ireland is also called Eire in that Gaelic Irish language, and its nickname is the Emerald Isle because it is so green. We already covered this in the maps, but Ireland is a separate country from Northern Ireland. That happened after the Irish War of Independence, which was about 100 years ago. The Titanic, the famous ship that sank, was made in Northern Ireland, and it last set sail from Cove, Ireland. And I actually have a few pictures from Cove because I did go there. It was right near Cork. Finally, St. Patrick's Day is celebrated on March 17th, and that's the reason why we have this video. So St. Patrick is the patron saint of Ireland, and he died on March 17th. So every year, Irish people and now around the world celebrate his memory and his honor on March 17th, and that's why we have St. Patrick's Day. So that's a little bit about Ireland. Now let's dive into some pictures. All of these pictures I took when I lived in Ireland, which was back in 2007. This is a picture of one of the main streets in Cork, St. Patrick's Street. So again, that name Patrick and St. Patrick specifically coming up a lot in Ireland. So Cork is the second biggest city in Ireland, but as you can look from the picture, we don't see any skyscrapers. There aren't any skyscrapers in Cork. So when you think about big cities like New York City, Chicago, okay, imagine really tall buildings, but that's not true in Cork, Ireland. It's the second biggest city, but the tallest buildings are 5-6 stories tall. So this is one of the main streets. That white building in the middle is actually a McDonald's. So we went there a lot. And then this is just another shot of the same street, St. Patrick's Street. This is where we did a lot of our shopping. And you can kind of tell from the clothing that people are wearing what Ireland's weather is like. So Ireland doesn't get very hot. It doesn't get very cold. It stays between about 40 degrees and 80 degrees Fahrenheit all year long. And that 80 degrees is really pushing it, probably more like 70. So this was a picture taken in August, okay, at the end of August, and you can see most people are wearing long pants, long sleeves, but no extra jackets. It also rains a lot, which I'll get more into later. This was the view from my apartment. So I lived in Cork in an apartment, and again, you can see out the window, not a very big city. It might look bigger than where you live, but if you're comparing it to, Los Angeles or something like that, it's not even close. You can also see that we're on a little hill. You can see the roofs kind of going up as we go along. So now these next few pictures are from my college. I went to University of Cork, okay, UCC, and that was, it had about 14,000 students when I went there, and the grounds and all of the buildings were gorgeous. It's a very old college. So this was just a picture of one of the buildings on my walk to my classes. This is the inside of one of the halls I took in college. We called this building the Hogwarts building because we felt like we were in the Harry Potter novels as we walked through the halls. And here I am. That's me back in 2007, me and my perm. This is me on the grounds of my college that's outside of the Hogwarts building. So we got to see that building whenever we walked to class, which was really special. It was beautiful. And this is the beginning of our first trip. So we took a trip to Blarney, which is pretty close to Cork, just a short bus ride away. And that is the Blarney Castle. So there it is from the bottom. And here's the view from the top. So as you can see, Ireland is called the Emerald Isle because it is so green. They get tons of rain. And so there's a lot of things that are able to grow and flourish, lots of green grass and green trees. So that's me kissing the Blarney Stone. So there's a legend that if you kiss this stone, which is at the top of the castle, then you will have the gift of eloquence, which means the gift of good speaking. I have never really needed any help learning how to talk, so I don't really know if I needed that, but it's a legend and some famous people have done it, and so that's now a thing. The guy who's holding me works there, and his job is to make sure everyone can kiss the stone safely because you have to lay down and lean over. Very silly, but we all did it because it's just one of the things you did when you were in Ireland. That's another view from, I think this was a different castle, not the Blarney Castle. We went to lots of castles in Ireland, and we got to see a lot of horses throughout our time in Ireland, and so that was just a shot out one of the castle windows. Gorgeous. We also went to some mansions and some famous gardens. So that's me peeking out from behind. It looks like some sort of hedge. So again, Ireland has lots of natural beauty, lots of flowers and trees and other things. And so we like to explore them all around the country. So our next trip, this was a few days trip. This was to the Aran Islands. So the Aran Islands are tiny islands off the west coast of Ireland. There's three of them, and they hardly have any people living on them. So we stayed for one night at Inishmin, and that was an island. Actually, I think we stayed for more than one night, but anyway, that was an island that only had about 100 people living on it full time. So this is what the island looked like. You can see there's houses dotted here and there, but nothing like you might see in America. There's tons of rocks, as you can tell. So they used to be all over the island, and then the people who lived there realized they couldn't really plant or grow anything. So they took the rocks and over time just stacked them all together to make fences so that livestock could be protected, and then they could actually have some grass. This was our Airbnb, or not Airbnb, this was our bed and breakfast. This was really one of the only hotels on the island, and that's where we stayed. They had a few rooms, and then we got breakfast each morning. This is another shot of the fences, the rock fences that were made, and then you can also see some windmills that they were using to create electricity. Ireland is very environmentally conscious. We really had no paper towels in any bathrooms, only hand dryers, and we saw windmills like this, a lot of places to help with electricity. This is another view from the Aran Islands. So these beaches, no lifeguards, nothing like that. You could just go and walk and explore. The water was pretty cold. Again, here's another beach. You can see mostly rocks. We did find a sandy part and we did swim in it, but it was freezing. This was the end of September and it was not warm. This is one of the churches on the island. I think they only have maybe one or two churches and one school that people can go to. Or they can take a ferry over to the main island, up Ireland, and go there. So these cliffs that you can see from across the water, these are called the Cliffs of Moher. They're famous cliffs. Lots of people who go to Ireland visit them. I actually never went to the Cliffs of Moher. I saw them from this point. So this is from our island looking across to the Cliffs of Moher. The reason why we didn't go is because we had our own cliffs. These cliffs are the cliffs that were on our island on the other side. So the same island as the beach, but on the other side. And there was no one there really except for us. So we could just walk right up, not too close. I was very concerned. And get a gorgeous view of the sea below. So then after that, we went to Galway. Galway is a pretty popular city, smaller than Cork, but still pretty popular in Ireland. And I don't have tons of pictures, but what I do have is this gorgeous building. So all of the buildings in Galway looked like this, brightly colored, lots of people out and about outside. And here's my other picture from Galway. This is one of the main squares in the town, and people were just sitting here on a lovely day, chatting with their friends, maybe having a picnic, and that's Galway. We also went to this tiny fishing village. It wasn't even on the Ireland map, called Kinsale. So my friends and I took a picture, these few pictures in Kinsale as we were taking a walk. So you can see a lot of boats coming out of the harbor. Kinsale has lots of seafood, lots of fishing, and was a really just cute, tiny, small town to visit. Again, that's a close-up on some of the ships. So these are working ships, they're commercial. So it's not just people going on their boat for the day. It's people out there fishing to make money, to sell to restaurants. And this is Charles Fort. This is a fort that we got to visit in Kinsale. So it's pretty cool. It sits kind of on the edge of the water. So when it was used as an actual fort in times of war, they could always see if people were coming. They could always see if ships were coming on the horizon, and then they would be able to sound the alarm. So the next few pictures are from Dublin. Dublin is the capital of Ireland. Okay, it's definitely bigger than Cork. And this is, you guessed it, St. Patrick's Cathedral. So this is the big church in Dublin that everyone went to. This is St. Stephen's Green. This is a big rectangular park that's in downtown Dublin. It's pretty big. It's near some main shopping areas, but it's a landscape park where everyone can just go and, get away from the rest of the city. It was very popular. Lots of people were there. And it was just really pretty. And as you can see, very green. This is actually called the Book of Kells. So this is in Trinity College, which is Dublin's premier oldest college. And the Book of Kells is a library that houses some very old books, some of them over 1,000 years old. So that was a really cool thing to go to, especially if you're like me and you love books and libraries. And this is the sun setting over the River Liffey. That's the main river in Dublin. Most European cities, and really American cities too, are on rivers, and Dublin was no exception. So my next set of pictures is from the Ring of Kerry. So this is a small kind of loop. It's about a little over 100 miles in southwest Ireland, and it's just tiny towns, nature. We took a weekend trip where we went in a bus and they sort of drove us around the Ring of Kerry over 2 days. So this is the tiny town of Cahirsiveen, and you can see again all the colorful buildings that are just very true to Ireland. These rocks are called the Skellig Michael. And so we stopped, just got off our bus and came off to take pictures. So they're out there in the water and they're just really cool and fun to look at. This is just, again, some of the view outside of our bus. We just remember pulling over and stopping to take pictures. And that's just the natural beauty that exists in Ireland. We also stopped for some livestock several times. And, these didn't really have fences. They were just sitting on the side of the road and standing. So we went over to take a look. That's one of my friends from Ireland. Now this next picture, my friends took of me, and I am giving a thumbs up. I can't show you yet. I have to give you a backstory. I was giving a thumbs up and my thumbs up was supposed to mean, wow, look how close I am to this animal. But you can see from the picture, look closely, and you'll see that afterwards when we looked at the picture, we could not stop giggling. That's right. He's peeing. Oops. So yeah, that ended up being a really funny picture we took in Ireland. We were just trying to take a picture getting really close to the animals, and we did not realize that he was peeing in the picture. Moving on, this is another stop in the Ring of Kerry. I cannot remember for the life of me what this is called, and I tried to Google it and was unsuccessful, but we stopped in this beach and we saw this you can see a really tiny castle out in a little island on the water, which was just really pretty. And this was the town of Killarney. So you can tell it's decorated for Christmas. We went there, I think at the end of November, but they don't have Thanksgiving in Ireland. So after Halloween is over, it goes straight to Christmas decorations. So you can see this is a super busy town. This is like the biggest town in the Ring of Kerry. And lots of people shopping out for the holidays. So again, another cute little town in Ireland. This is mostly what they all look like. Finally, we also went to Cove. So Cove is a small city or town, really, very close to Cork. And this is the last place the Titanic stopped at before it crossed over the ocean and ultimately ended up hitting the iceberg and sinking. So we got to view a Titanic museum. For some reason, I don't have any pictures of that, so you can just look at my picture of this parking lot, but also, again, the different colored buildings. And then this statue, that's me and my friends acting out the statue. This is the Annie Moore statue. This is a famous one in Cove, and Annie Moore was the first U.S. immigrant to go through Ellis Island. So she's the first Irish immigrant that stopped in Ellis Island, which is where the Statue of Liberty is in New York City, and went through Ellis Island to become an American. So she left from Cove over 100 years ago in 1892. So they have this statue commemorating her. And just 2 more pictures. My second to last one is of this rainbow. This was, rain was a thing in Ireland. It rains a lot. We actually got lucky. It didn't rain for the whole first month we were there, and they kept saying it was some sort of miracle, but it definitely made up for it the rest of the time we were there. Rain just is part of life. It doesn't rain every day. It doesn't rain all day, for the most part, but we just always had a raincoat ready because we never knew. But we also got to see lots of rainbows. No, we did not find any leprechauns or pots of gold at the end of any of the rainbows. And finally, this is the Irish flag. It's actually sort of flying backwards in this picture. So the Irish flag has 3 colors, orange, green, and white. So the green color symbolizes the Catholic religion, which is what the majority of Irish people are. The orange color represents the Protestant religion, which is another religion that's celebrated in Ireland. And then the white color in the middle symbolizes peace and unity between the 2 religions. There was always lots of conflict between the religions in Ireland, so they created this flag to show that they wanted peace between the 2 religions.
Well, those are some of my pictures from my time in Ireland. I hope you enjoyed. I believe comments are disabled from my YouTube videos because they're made for kids, but if you have any questions, you can feel free to email me at abattersby@bcps.org and I'll answer your questions. So again, my email is abattersby@bcps.org if you have any questions about Ireland, and I'll be happy to answer them. If you're interested in more virtual field trips during our time away, I've also been to several other countries and would love to share my pictures from them. So if you're interested in seeing a field trip next week to a different country besides Ireland, let me know and I'll be able to do that too. Some of the countries I've been to, I wrote them down: France, Italy, Spain, Scotland, Switzerland, England, Greece, the Czech Republic, Iceland, Germany, and Austria. I have tons of pictures from all of my travels to those countries. So if you want to see any of them, just let me know. You can send me an email, or if you know me personally, you can contact me and I can get a field trip set up for next week too. Have a great St. Patrick's Day. I miss you all. I wish you well.